G'day everyone and thanks for tuning in. We crisscross around the country today and our journey begins here at Melbourne International Airport in Tullamarine, Australia's second busiest airport.
And g'day guys, that's right, I'm coming to you from Melbourne International Airport. And I just got off the Sky bus from the city, so I am heading to QANTAS today, and I'm flying to Western Australia. So I'm flying across the country, doing a transcontinental flight from Melbourne to Perth on a wide-body Airbus A330 in economy class. So my question today is, because QANTAS is Australia's only full-service airline, charging a premium to fly us all over Australia because their tickets are seriously not cheap. So the question I'm going to ask today is, just how premium is QANTAS? Are they still worth it to fly in 2022? So yeah, this is the question I want to answer today. And so let's get this journey started. And the first stop today will be the QANTAS Lounge here at Melbourne. Let's do this.
Domestic operations for QANTAS utilizes Terminal 1 here at Tulla. It was opened in 1970 and the last major refurbishment was done in 1999. The airport is presently going through more renovations to keep it up to date. So the entrance to the QANTAS Lounge precinct has a lot of temporary boards put up around it. If you're here at the right time, your ears will be entertained by very butch sounds of drills and jackhammer echoing about. There's the occasional visual spectacle of hard hats, high vis, and for some reason, very, very short shorts. The QANTAS Lounge precinct in Melbourne was renovated in 2018. Therefore, it still looks fresh and pretty on trend, taking lots of color cues from the raw Australian landscape. The buffet spread was also colourful, consisting of fresh salads and cold cuts. There was also scrambled eggs and baked beans available since this was breakfast. You see, I do eat healthily sometimes, and this morning's brekkie is definitely wholesome. If you're tuning into my channel for the first time, my name's Ryan, and I create heaps of food and travel related content. This trip started in Adelaide yesterday, where I was caught up in the delay chaos. There's also me eating through Melbourne last night, and this morning I'm really destined for Kalgoorlie, where I'll get on the Prospector train tomorrow bound for Perth. Keep a lookout for these videos, which will be linked in the description below. Better yet, hit subscribe and the bell icon so you won't miss out on future episodes. Here's the thanks, because your support is very much appreciated. We're boarding today from gate number 23, one of the few gates in Terminal 1 which is double piered, to cater to a wide-body aircraft like the 787 or the Airbus A330 which we're on today. These wide-body planes are frequently assigned transcontinental flights from the East Coast to Perth. And they're also occasionally used between the East Coast capitals, especially when they're repositioning for or from an international flight. In Australia, flight attendants actually exit the aircraft and assist the gate agents during boarding. So they were all smiles and welcoming, which was an excellent precursor for what this flight held, service-wise at least. I was greeted by name and warmly welcomed back once the scanner beeped, which was a very nice touch. The aircraft assigned for our trip across this dry, brown southern land of ours is Echo Bravo Kilo, an Airbus A330-200, which first flew in July 2008, making her about 14 and a half years old at the time of writing. This 200 series Airbus A330 has 28 business class seats with a mini cabin behind door number 2. Walking past the bulkhead, there are 243 seats waiting to cradle our economy bums. I rather like the color palette chosen by Qantas. I think the deep purple and black accents look rather chic. It's more Target than Kmart. Wait, strike that. It's not Target. It's Target, excusez-moi. Let me take you through the seat features and the immediate surroundings. We start with the advertised seat pitch of 31 inches. Perhaps I'm built like a hobbit, that's why it looks so spacious. There is a holder for the iPad and 2 USB ports at each side of the seat edges. A tray table folds out which can be moved back and forth. Seat pocket contents include a safety card and a single Qantas branded AirSig bag. An iPad is also found in every seat, which contains all the contents similar to a regular IFE system, except the moving flight mat. The armrest can be folded up to create more space should the seat next to you be empty. Unfortunately, there is an annoying IFE box here which impedes legroom. The overhead console has my favorite individual air nozzles and a bright white reading lamp. I love these A330 seats because of the generous recline. And lastly, there is a 6-way movable headrest for added comfort. Especially useful so you and your seat neighbor don't end up drooling on each other's shoulders during a red eye.
You can read more about what we're doing today in your Qantas magazine, located in your seat pocket. It's time to ensure your seat back is upright and your tray table is stowed.
The staff shortage situation in Melbourne Airport has once again come back to bite us in our bum. There wasn't sufficient ground staff to load the cargo on time, which explains why the safety video is now being played while the loading happens. So once everything is complete, we can push back and get going immediately. We finally pushed back about 25 minutes late, which was rather worrying for those of us with flight connections at Perth Airport. Some of us on this flight are connecting to Karratha, Geraldton, and like me to Kalgoorlie. Our connection has now been suddenly made a lot tighter. An announcement was later made that these connecting flights would wait for us should we get delayed further. Our departure profile after hurtling down runway 16 meant that we had to make a right turn after takeoff. Our westerly heading bound for Perth would see us coast out into the Great Australian Bight over South Australia. We won't see landfall until we reach Western Australia, coasting in over Esperance before making a direct trek for Perth International Airport from the north, clocking a total distance of about 2,700 kilometers and a flight time of 4 hours 10 minutes. Let's take a look at this unique entertainment option on Qantas. In each seat pocket, there is an iPad which we will then slot into this empty holder ahead, where you would normally find a PTV on other long-haul aircraft. During takeoff and landing, the iPad has to be removed and placed back into the seat pocket. The contents on this device, as mentioned before, is exactly the same as what you would normally find on a regular IFE seatback programming, minus the in-flight mat. No worries, because Qantas A330s are now finally Wi-Fi equipped, so you can track your progress on Flight Radar 24 on your phone. Over my beautiful home state of South Australia, we coast out into the Great Australian Bight, somewhere south of the town of Robe, as we trek west towards our destination. Being the only premium full-service carrier, Qantas is the only airline in Australia which serves a free meal in economy class. An hour into the flight, the smell of food filled the cabin, and we had a choice between a chicken quinoa salad or Italian pasta with meatballs. These warm meals are now only found on long transcontinental flights across the country to and from Perth. Elsewhere across the network, we're either given a small packet of snacks or a sandwich during mealtimes. As far as in-flight meals in economy class go, this is as good as it's gonna get in Australia. While there's nothing essentially wrong with the quality, there isn't any flair attached to it. For my international viewers, I know what you're thinking. Where is the meal tray? Is there a starter? What about dessert? Before you flip the table and cry out for the world to think of the children, just bear with me until the end of the video for my thoughts about this situation. Halfway through the meal service, the Wi-Fi decided it was going to give us a big juicy middle finger. No matter what the crew did to reset it, Wi-Fi insisted it was going on strike for better work and pay conditions. Because of this, the iPads were now rendered useless and the cabin looked more like an Apple Store display instead of an economy cabin on an Airbus A330. Trying to broadcast this live on Instagram wasn't going to work either, since our personal devices were no longer connected to the web. Since we were all sulking, not being able to get on Instagram and TikTok and all that, the cabin crew came about to give us these sinful chocolate balls. Who doesn't like chocolate balls? They're my favorite type of balls, and the cabin crew were only too happy to give me some more.
Hi everyone, we're about to prepare for landing, so let's return to your allocated seat. If you can't find your electronic device, it's important that you don't move your seat as this could damage your device and may be a fire hazard. Just ask one of the crew for help. It's now time to put all laptops and other large electronic devices away, and please make sure your bags are in the overhead lockers or under the seat in front.
With the flight drawing to a close, it's time for me to answer the million-dollar question. Is Qantas still premium enough in today's tough, competitive aviation market? Well, yes and no. Yes, they are still premium in the Australian market, but that's not saying much because of the extremely low bar set by our domestic scene. With Virgin Australia no longer offering full service in economy class, there is no more competition for Qantas, so there is no longer an incentive to improve whatever the offering is. In fact, Qantas has even dialed back their business class service on transcontinental flights. In 2019, meal service was white linen, courses served separately, and a general service level which was on par with an international flight. These days, it's all served in a single tray as seen here on a recent flight taken by my friend Adam on a similar sector. I fear these cuts are just the start of a permanent downward trajectory of what the future holds for a full-service carrier in Australia. Let's not forget that Qantas charges an arm and a leg to fly you across the country. I suppose this takes me to why they aren't premium enough. International competition presently runs circles around Qantas with what they offer in flight. What you saw there in economy class, the meal trailer service, is also seen on long-haul international flights, with an addition of a bar service and dessert run. It's seriously lacking. So the airline has to depend on in-flight service of the crew to prop the whole experience up, which is threading on very thin ice. Our in-flight entertainment decided to conk out today, so the service rendered was thankfully excellent. In fact, the crew was also running a bet as to which of us who ordered the pasta would soil our shirts first, seeing how so many of us were dressed in white for some reason. They were funny, loved their job, and took the time to engage in cheerful banter. This is the Qantas I love to see. But take that away, the whole experience suddenly becomes very Spartan. And this is why I would never spend $1 to fly on any Qantas flights. All the Qantas flights you see on my channel are 100% redemption only. Because I think the value proposition Qantas offers is extremely poor. What is your opinion on this? Let me know in the comments.
And voila! Here we are in Perth. That was actually a rather excellent flight on Qantas from Melbourne all the way to Perth. I mean, look at that beautiful A330 out there. It's one of my favorite aircraft actually. There you go. I mean, just look at it. This is the beauty that brought me to Perth. Yeah, so it was an excellent flight, like I was saying. The food was not too bad. I was expecting some crappy food, but it turns out it was okay. And I was actually wondering whether will they still have warm meals. And yes, thankfully they do. So I'm here on a transit, and then I'm getting on the Fokker 100 to Kalgoorlie. So I'm really excited for that one. So look forward to that report, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna head to the lounge quickly because the flight is late, so I only have about 30 minutes in the lounge, so I'm gonna head there now. So I'm gonna say goodbye to you now and end this flight review. So the Kalgoorlie flight will be the subject of another trip report, okay? So I'll put details on my Instagram up on your screen right now, so you can hit me up there so you can see what am I up to in real time. And also it gives you an idea of the kind of videos that will be coming up on my YouTube channel. Okay, but more importantly, don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell notification icon. And yeah, I'll see you for the next video. See you guys around. Bye.